Welcome to The Bryan Show. And obviously that's not the name of the podcast, but I am joined by my good friend, guest host today, Brian Danney. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Brian, I'm super excited what we're going to be talking about today. For anyone that's listened to the podcast, I was just talking to someone today. They're like, I listened to it on the way in today. Brian is a phenomenal coach, a phenomenal agent. You've been at your current team, which now we're at Whissel Beer Group, for over 10 years. And you've seen people go through and work their way up. You've seen people work their way out. You've seen people work their way up and then out. Like, you've seen it all. Yeah. So in a little bit, not right now, I got to still do my intro whole thing, but I want to cover 3 mistakes that you see agents that make them leave the business. So 3 things that people can avoid, and then 1 superpower that you see when you see someone and you go, and they have this one thing, whether it's internal or something you can build, and you go, they're going to be successful. So that's what I want to talk about today.
Awesome. Cool.
So if you are watching here and you like this, you want more, you can go to thewhisselway.com. On there, you can do a bunch of stuff. Join our Facebook group. Check out our YouTube channel where we do videos like this every week. You can join our outbound referral network. So as people leave San Diego, we need to send them somewhere, hopefully to you. There's a few other things. We have information about a course on there. You can ask a question on there. It does need to be redesigned, but now that we have the Beer Home team that has merged with Whissel Beer, I'm going to utilize Lauren to help me redesign some of this stuff. But yeah, that's all at thewhisselway.com. And if you like this, subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave us a review. I would love that. All right, let's get into it. Now you talk for 30 minutes. Ooh, and I stop.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
So 3 mistakes that you see agents make over and over that are fixable. I don't want you to be like, the mistake is their face. Like, I guess you can fix that. But 3 mistakes. Let's go with the first one. What do you got?
Okay, so in no order. And honestly, this is not limited to, but the 3 most common mistakes people make is someone who does not take what's currently working and run with it. They try to reinvent it. And in this business, working with the timeless things that have always worked and putting your own flavor to it, that could work after you master it. But people try to reinvent the wheel to come up with something creative, and here's ultimately what it does. It creates distraction. It's not proven, and agents just get lost in the weeds with the things that are just simple and that work.
Okay, I want to push back on you on
this.
Because I hear you, I agree. But there are certain things that we know that come into society, that come into real estate, that if you don't adopt, you'll be less behind. For example, we know that video is incredibly important. Mm-hmm. 20 years ago, let's go back. Calling your clients. 20 years ago, valid. Now, valid. Mm-hmm. Video. 20 years ago, no, you have to hire a commercial crew. Now, expected, right? How do you determine what is a shiny object or a distraction versus what's tried and true versus what is the upcoming, I need to make sure I don't get left behind?
No, I agree with you on that video thing. Yeah, it wasn't a thing that was present or part of anything long time ago, but society and the way we live and lifestyle, that just kind of adopted video as being a prominent thing, right? And that's how people communicate now. They communicate through video. I actually think there's a place for video. So I think that's a great place for what I call a pattern interruption. What I'm specifically talking about is a talk track. Call it a talk track. Call it like delivering something that works, like a feel, felt, found, which we talked about a few weeks ago. And then someone saying, I'm not going to do feel, felt, found. I'm going to do my own version of that. And then they just start running with something which is a distraction because they want to be the person that's the one that's like the creator of this thing that's getting in the way of them actually selling. And that's where people get stuck. Whether it be talk tracks, whether it be trying to do another twist on like farming, for example, or whatever it is, they just don't do what's already been proven that works. They're trying to do something different.
So give me a few examples of those things, because as you said, because if I'm listening to this, I'm going to be yelling at my car and go, yeah, but what about AI? You got to do that. Yeah. So I like that. But give me more examples. You talked about farming. You talked about talk tracks or scripting is another word for that. For those aren't. Talk tracks are different, but it's similar. What are some other things that you would say, tried and true, do the yikes postcard, or like where are we at with those?
Yeah, like I think when we try to implement different things as far as like open houses, for example, and we have a process that works there, and someone tries to reinvent, like I'll be transparent. I'm old school. Like actually pen, paper, me filling out who's their information, the people walking in the house and running that process versus trying to do something cute and maybe even a little sexier in the house that's getting in the way and a distraction for people actually signing in. And the whole point is to actually get contact information for someone that's walking and stepping foot in that house. If you're going to invest 3 hours, do it right, do what's proven. But we do these other little things and nuances that actually get in the way.
So would it be fair to say to really make sure you know what the goal is or the outcome is? So like for open house, the goal is to get contact information so you can keep and build that relationship and you can continue that relationship.
Yes.
And so if someone goes, well, I want to do, the wavy arm guy and this and that and this and that and this and that, and then you go, okay, a simple like yes, no. Will this help you get in better relationship with more people? Yes or no? Does that help kind of guide that track there?
100%. But here's the issue: is that we think if we can discount this other thing that we need to do and just have the wavy arm guy. That's the issue. It's a distraction taking you away from the things that just simply work. Does it make sense to do the thing that always works and the wavy arm guy after you've actually mastered that? 1000%. Do it. It's another flavor. It's another layer. But it's like taking shortcuts, which just get in the way.
Okay.
Those are the distractions.
I love that. I think that's a very clear, concise way to do it. And it's funny because I tell people that too. And when they say, I want to run Facebook ads. Yeah. And I say, how are you doing with open houses? How are you doing with your follow-up? And they're like, bad. Yeah. I'm like, Facebook ads not going to fix that. Yeah. Like, it's going to only compound the problem. Right. So I love, once you have mastered your core pillars, we have 4 core pillars here at Whissel, which is your sphere, Whissel Beer, your sphere, your social media, right, your self-gen, yes, thank you, and team-generated leads. Yes. Those are our 4 core pillars, and we say, master those, and once you have open houses, I think specifically. Yeah. Once you have mastered open houses, then let's go into geographic farming and growing that out for a longer term business. Right. But don't go a little bit.
Okay, now I'm going to get really animated about this because I literally had a couple strategy meetings with a couple agents recently, and we were just breaking things down. And I was like, let's just break down where you've gotten your business. Like, where have you spent your time? And there were common themes of where they were doing it, but yet they wanted to do this other thing, and yet they had a goal that they wanted to hit for the year. And then all these little shiny objects because they think it sounds great and it sounds sexy and it's the modern way to do it, that's distracting them from actually selling, right? Think about agents who like want to get into coaching of some sort, and they don't have the history, track record, or consistency to do that other stuff. This just takes you in a different lane. It pulls you out. So just keeping it simple, doing the thing that always works, that's going to make you the money. That's going to build relationships. That's going to do the whole thing you want in your life. So, yeah.
I want to talk about that for 1 second before we move on to number 2. But I love that because I was talking to Ian, which I know he is coming to you now. And it was funny. I was thinking about him the other day, and I was like, bro, he is one of those guys where if he wants to be good at this, he will. He's got the skills, he's got the people, he's got everything. He's just, once he decides he wants it, he'll do it. And for a while, he was doing something that he was doing videos about trying to get sponsored by Celsius because it was a whole fun thing. And I was like, the amount of work he's putting into that to try and get 2 free Celsiuses a day. If he put that amount of work, and I told him this to his face, so I don't mind blasting him on in front of everyone, but I'm like, put that energy, that work into real estate. Yeah. You're going to get $300 off of Celsius a month, or you're going to get 3 more clients a month. Like, what are you doing here? Yeah. So I love that. Okay, number 2. So the first mistake, don't reinvent the wheel. Do the tried and true. You can add to it, but don't subtract from it.
Correct. And avoid distraction. That's part of that whole bucket there. Okay. 2, the biggest thing for me is you have to be coachable. we're not, no matter who you are, like there is no ceiling to anything, and you have to be coachable, and you have to explore, not only explore your wins, explore your failures. You have to lean in there. And some people, they don't allow themselves to be vulnerable there. They don't allow themselves. It's too uncomfortable to explore the losses. Well, let's examine the things that are going to build your confidence up and the things that allowed you to win. And let's explore the things that you didn't win. Today in Huddle, I talked about receiving a phone call from, or talking to my wife on my way out. Did you know these people as friends of ours, bought a house? And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, of course, I spent my 2 seconds being like, what the heck? Why didn't they come to me when they buy the house? They know that, like, what I do. What was my play in that? Like, where can I have learned? How could I do something different? Like, it's not them, it's me. Let's look in the mirror, being coachable. So I was actually learning for myself and being open to growing to figure out what I can do better. And I feel like it's being coachable. And there's an agent who I admire tremendously. He's a friend, known him for years, Michelle Goldstein. Yeah. One of the most coachable and just like so open to it. And he has grown astronomically because of that. Crushes.
It's funny. I was thinking about one of our agents, Carly, and Carly crushes. She went on a listing appointment. She went with Kyle. We did all this video. So she threw it out of the park. And at the last minute, and I think she actually talked about this on the podcast. They asked about commission, and they said, well, we're going to have 4 properties or whatever. So can you drop it by X? I'll just say X. And she goes, sure. And when she lost the listing, they said, well, you dropped your commission like that. Yeah. I didn't trust that you'd be able to. And she goes, I never do that. And so then the day after she lost, this is hundreds of thousands of dollars in commission. The day after, she was hosting the huddle, and she goes, I messed up. This is what I did. This is why I didn't get it. And so I wrote be coachable, but I also wrote and take accountability. So not only be coachable, and I'm going to add to this because this is something I struggle with. Yeah. Coachability, you're like, everyone wants to be like, yeah, I'm coachable. But also, don't take things personally. And that is, for me, incredibly difficult. Yeah. Literally, they're like, I don't like the angle here. I'm like, you're dumb. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. And so that's something I'm absolutely day by day trying to work on.
Yeah. And you're not alone, Brian.
No.
I feel the same way.
It's not just a Brian thing here. It's in everything. So, yeah, I hear you.
And so, like, Kyle today was like, I don't like this and this. I'm like, let's fix it. Yeah. Let's make it better. That's on. And so I love that. Be coachable, take accountability. And I love what you said about your situation. I actually talk about it in my social media class. And I say, okay, who's had someone a friend, a neighbor, someone in your sphere that has bought or sold? And there's usually one, at least. And they're like, me. I'm like, okay, whose fault was it that they used another realtor? Yeah. Yours or theirs? And they go, theirs. Really? There's nothing you could have done better to? And they go, well, I guess I could have. Yeah. So I love that. Be coachable, take accountability.
And one more thing, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be open. When you can show vulnerability, what that does for you, relationships, for yourself, that pulls people in. It just does.
You know what's really funny? Is when I see someone being vulnerable, my first thought goes to my previous pastor at my church. Mm-hmm. He would always tell, he would tell stories of his past, and he would talk about the time that he got arrested at 22 for drunk driving. And never once have I been like, I hate you, guy. I'm always like, okay, that's okay. Yeah. And like it connected. But when on the flip side, when I'm like, ooh, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, I don't want to tell him. And I'm like, no one thinks less of you if you're not, I don't want to say no one, but like the right people, your people, the people that you can trust and grow with, they're not going to go, you suck because of something you did 20 years ago.
There's no judgment.
Yeah.
No, there isn't. No, that's great.
That's a hard one. Like, it's so like, I challenge you when you're listening to this, if you're watching this, pay attention to how you feel the next time someone is vulnerable to you, whether it's in a small setting or a big setting. Maybe it's on TV and someone like it's football season. Watch a football player take accountability, be coachable like quarterbacks do this all the time. They're like, I messed up. We lost the game because I didn't play good enough. Well, your defense also gave up all this stuff. But they're like, well, yeah, they could have played better, but it's on me. And that's how you become great. And I would argue.
So one of my coaches for years, he always talks about this thing. If you're John Cheplack, you're a stoplight. He talks about this all the time. You're a stoplight. You're parked. Car comes up from behind and hits you. Whose fault is it?
Theirs.
No, it's yours. You put yourself in that position. That's his pitch. Is change your perspective. You're the one that put yourself and parked your car and stopped in that spot, and you put yourself in a position to be hit. Yeah, okay. There's some credibility there. They hit you. They ran a stop sign, whatever that is. But that wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't have been hit if you didn't park your car there. If you didn't take that road. If you live with that, Extreme Accountability, which is a freaking amazing book. If you have not read it, like obviously you have. Anyone here? Extreme Ownership, Extreme Accountability it is so good by Jocko. I highly recommend that.
And what's great about that is, thank you, that was the right word. What's great about that is, even if it's not the insurance won't call it your fault. But if you say, well, what could I have done better? What could I have done different? Could I have? It's going to make you better. You're not a victim. You're a.
That's it right there.
You're taking responsibility for. I was there. If I would have left, I was at that red light because I was trying to speed through things because I'm 10 minutes late, and I slammed there because I barely missed the red light, so I stopped and the guy what could you have done? Or you saw the guy was texting when you passed him and then you cut him off and then you parked your car. Well, he hit you. What could you do better? Because you can't control other people. You can control yourself.
You can control you. You control your actions. Victimhood is a mistake. That is right in line with everything else that we're talking about right now. Completely.
We can go probably 3 hours on that. I love that. But let's not. You're like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Let's go. Okay.
All right.
I don't want to leave the third one limited to, okay, because there's more.
I like how this isn't each one. Don't reinvent the wheel. Avoid distraction. Talk tracks.
Yeah,
that's one.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. But you have to unpack it, right?
Yes, yeah. So what we got for four?
So 3 is where I'm leaning in, and in that it's what I call less is more. Less is more. We agents in general, we just play the numbers game way too much, and what we miss is the opportunity to really excel and win strong relationships. It just creates overwhelm. It creates burnout. It creates all this stuff I have to do. It destroys confidence. Less is more is the thing that I learned early in my career, and it's a mistake we all make. And the funny thing is, I sold more homes, Brian, when I only took about 10 or 15 opportunities at a time versus, I'm not joking and I'm embarrassed to admit to it, 100 at a time. I sold more with 10 or 15. Less is more.
I remember we were at an event, an ISA event where Stefan was teaching it. Yeah. And this was something that a lot of the stuff was very similar. This was when it was beer and whistle. Mm-hmm. A lot of the stuff was very similar. We've had ISA teams. You've had ISA. There was most. But at one point, I remember Dan stopping, and I think you were even there. And he goes, Brian, how many hot leads do you have right now? And you're like, 7. Yeah. And Stefan, how many? He's an ISA at the time. But he would ask agents that were on the team. And I'm like, no, that's not good. We're giving our agents 100 leads a month, and that's what people's thought is. And the more I dove into it, I'm like, oh man, that was really a shift for me when I thought about that. Oh, they're actually really right here. Now I don't know what the right number is, and you got to be 5 Facebook leads is different than 5 Zillow leads, so you got to massage it.
I have a rule. My rule is you can have 20, you can have 10, you can have 15, you can have 30. God, you can have 50. Here's the rule. You need to know your client's schedule. You need to have next steps with everybody. If you call a client and you can't get a hold for 2 weeks and you didn't know they went on vacation, you're at your limit. You need to know. You need to have everything lined up. You need to know everything about your clients. And if you don't know enough, if you don't know their kids' names, if you don't know this, if you don't know the reason why they're searching, if you don't know their 5 must-haves, you're at your limit. That is how I measure. And the truth is, everyone is typically at about 10 to 20.
Thank you. And that's not 10 to 20 new leads a month. That's 10 to 20 clients that you're working.
Correct. Does that mean I nurture others that are looking to buy in 6-8 months? Yes. Nurture plan. I'm talking about the people ready to buy in the next 30 to 45, maybe 60 days. That's it. Those are my hot prospects. I sell home, I help them earn a referral because I've earned the relationship and they know I know them well, and then I'm able to pull somebody else in. And yeah, it's this mistake. It's like it's a numbers game. Like I'm like 1 out of 15 is gonna buy. 1 out of 20. It's so dangerous. It's such a dangerous game to play.
Because those numbers are right if you work, if you only work one well.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, you can't. Those numbers don't scale unless your effort scales. And so that's where you said you can have 50 if you're working 80 hours a week, whatever the hours is, and you scale with it. But let's play this real quick. Give me a percentage of time you should be spending on those 10 to 20 of your real estate work time versus the nurture that you hit up every once
In my opinion, nurtures should be every other week or every 3 weeks, minimum of once a month, depending on timeline. And everybody who's going to buy in the next 30, 45 days, 60 days, it's like twice a week. They know when they're going to hear from you, and you're not leaving it up to guesswork. They know when you're going to hear. It's a next step. It's not only a standing meeting, but it's a next step every time with a showing. And here's what naturally happens, Brian, is like when you earn that relationship, those are the easiest transactions you have.
Because they're friends. They're
friends.
They're people.
They trust you. The rapport is there. So it just makes it easy.
Okay, so what I have for our quote-unquote 3 mistakes, but I love it. I'd rather give like 9, but we call it 3. So number 1, I mean they're all, and everything's related, but right?
Yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Avoid distractions. Do the tried and true.
Yeah.
And you can add to it once you have mastered it.
Correct.
But don't start going inventing new stuff.
Yeah, just master what you can master and own it. And after time, and you've shown and you've proven it, then you can add another layer to it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Mistake number 2 is be coachable.
Yes.
/ take accountability / show vulnerability. This is all. I think this all can be summed up. And Mike Proctor has this, and I love this phrase. You can have pride or you can have money. And so this is all about putting your pride aside and saying, what's my goal? Is my goal to not look stupid in front of anyone? Mm-hmm. And there are definitely times in my life where that is not consciously, but looking back at my actions, that's what I do. Mm-hmm. I think everyone does that in some aspect with some people. But is that your goal, or are you trying to make money? Right? Or if you go, well, that sounds very selfish. Are you trying to help your clients make money and build wealth? Right? Like,
very much so.
So if you say, look, I'm going to put my pride aside. I'm going to find someone I trust that can coach with me, that can mentor me, that we can work together with. And another agent on our team, Clayton, calls it full open kimono. Just here I am, right? Warts and all. This is what's going on. So I don't know. I just added like 7 more things to that. But be coachable, take accountability, be responsible.
Yeah. Vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Victimhood, all that stuff.
Yeah. And number 3, I actually only have this one here for less is more.
Yeah. That's simple.
Don't, and we talked about leads specifically, but this also applies in, don't try and do 40 different lead sources. Don't try and do, don't try and do everything in the transaction. Don't be your TC and your photographer and your person that puts out the sign and the. There are things that you have to do because you're licensed. There are things that you need to do because that's your highest and best use of time. But don't be a master. I've had agents be like, okay, I want the tripod this high, move it over to the left. I'm like, why are you spending 3 hours here with me to do something that's not going to make you get more money or your sellers get more money?
A book that changed my life, somewhat related to this, but it just shaped my whole perspective on all of that. It's called Essentialism. It changed everything, letting go of certain things that I felt like I need to micromanage and this. The book is so freaking good. I don't know if you've ever heard of that book, Essentialism. It's so good. And that shaped everything. But in addition to that, less is more, and like staying your we have leverage all around us. And like we don't decide to pull levers, and that's where we get in trouble. We need to pull levers for leverage. And whether you're a team, you're a solo agent, it doesn't matter what the heck you are, you still have leverage. So use people. Use them at their capacity, at what they're good at, and let them wear their hat. Don't wear their hat. We'll let them wear their hat. And that's less is more.
And I think that also goes back to pride. You go, well, I was just having this conversation with Andrea, one of my photographers. I'm like, yeah, but I can do it better.
Yeah.
And it's like, but she used to work at In-N-Out, and she's like, I thought the same thing. I can do it better. But I can't flip burgers and take orders and manage money and I can't do all of those at the same time. So even if maybe they're doing it at 80% of what I could do it at, I can do it at 0% right now. So their 80% is way better than my 0. Okay, now those are mistakes. I think those are phenomenal. I want you to tell me one superpower that you see.
One?
Well, just one. Well, it'll be like 6 still.
Okay, yeah.
But one superpower when you see someone and you go, they're going to make it. They've got what it takes.
Yeah.
What is that?
So everyone, and where I've leaned for years, would be consistency. But the real superpower, it's implementation. It's implementing. And it is leaning in and just trial and erroring things and just going for it versus finding excuses not to do it right away or coming up to feeling you have to produce something to do it. It's just implementing and just going with it. Video, for example, jumping on camera right away. It's trying a talk track right away. It's trying something you learn for an open house right away. Putting yourself in action and being open to everything else with the mistakes we just talked about. This is the one thing. Implementing is the biggest superpower you can have. And I think with that, there's layers to it, but I'll keep it there and we'll expand on another day. But implementation is everything. You cannot be the agent you want to be without implementing.
That's so true. Another one of Cheplack's quotes. He goes, my shitty video will outperform your non-existent video every day of the week.
Yeah.
And so I just wrote down fast is greater than perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and you're absolutely right. Like those, when I see agents and I'm like, oh, they're gonna, because I didn't know the answer to this, but you're absolutely right. When I see agents and on a Tuesday meeting we talk about flipping or something like that, and then they write in the wins Tuesday at 4:00. Hey, I just called my past clients and I actually talked about this that we talked about today, and they want to do it. What do I do now? Like that's the best problem of like, I got a yes, and now I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Kyle's phenomenal at that.
Yeah.
I struggle. I'm like, he'll be like, let's launch 3 podcasts by tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, give me like 3 weeks. I'll figure out the name for one of them. And he's like, no, too late. So implementing is
I attribute a lot of my success to that. And I will openly tell you it has been one of the change and like trying new things and being uncomfortable, just like everyone else. I'm human. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good to fail. But what I learned quickly is when I just implement, when coming out of a sales meeting and Dan would say, do your 3 easy CMAs, who sent their videos out? It would be scheduled in my calendar immediately after that meeting, and it would be there, and I'd go. And the more I saw, like I got more comfortable with here's my thing. If you can find a way to be familiar with being uncomfortable, just being familiar with what that feels like, being uncomfortable in discomfort. If you're familiar with that feeling, things are going to happen for you.
You know, I just keep telling little stories. You give all the good stuff, and I do a little story here and there. But
You're tying the bow on it all. It's
good.
great.
I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm afraid of the dentist. And then I went and did the thing, and I'm all tensed up. And then I paused for a second, and I said, is this painful or is this uncomfortable? Because they're 2 different things. And as I really thought about it, because I was all numbed up, I was like, I mean, it's not comfortable. My mouth is open, and I got fingers. Like, that's not comfortable. But is it painful? And so I think if you can determine the difference between pain and uncomfort, and you can push through uncomfort, and you can push through pain too. But like, I think those 2 get lumped in as the same thing, and they're extremely different. And so the next time you're doing something, like getting screamed at by your client and getting fired, I would say that's painful, right? But trying to door knock when you've never door knocked, it's not painful. It's uncomfortable, right? And so I think I think there's a big difference there.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be familiar, like I said, with those, with those two things. Being yelled at by a client but if you look at both those lessons with being uncomfortable, and everything else you mentioned, there's growth opportunities, right? So you're going to learn from those. You're going to learn. I'm going to wear different shoes the next time I'm door knocking. I'm going to have a different tone when I'm talking to my client next time. I'm going to set expectations differently. Like there's so many lessons in that. So yeah, that's where I live, is the implementation and being familiar with being uncomfortable in those two things.
I wrote down fail, but I don't remember where I was going to go with it. We talked a lot about failure. It wasn't that. I'll think of it tomorrow and we'll talk about it. Anything else you want to add, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I would just encourage people after listening to this, whoever is going to find something that you can implement, something, whether it be finding consistency. We barely even touched on that one, and that is an important piece too. But implement something that you've been avoiding, and that will change everything for you. And that's where I would encourage you to live.
All right.
That's my challenge.
Okay, so let's make it specific.
Yeah.
Challenge them with one specific thing. Like you said, when Dan said, do your 3 easy CMAs, you did it right away. What's one thing that every agent needs to do that most agents are avoiding, that they can have they listen to this and they can do it right now? What's one thing you can have them do?
Find an accountability partner.
Okay.
And here's the good news. The accountability partner is your calendar. That's it. Your calendar knows what you're doing when you're doing it. It's looking you right in the eye every day. Is that time blocked correctly? Are you doing what you say you're doing every day at that time? Are you honoring it? Implement that, because that is the foundation of everything you're going to do. And that's the sexy thing. If you follow your calendar and you do everything you need to do in your calendar, you're going to have a very successful life and business, 1,000%. It might be boring, but boring is sexy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
Boring is sexy.
If you got value out of this show, I know you did. I hope you did. If you made it to this part and you haven't gotten value, you need to learn how to quit earlier. Because if you listen to 30 plus minutes of this and you're like, nope, this is all junk, whatever. But if you got value out of it, I'm going to ask you 2 things. And it's not follow your calendar. That's what Brian asked you to do. I'm going to ask you one, share it with someone. Share it with someone that can add value to their life. It could be your spouse. It could be your accountability partner that you actually already have above and beyond your calendar. It could be your team leader. It could be a new agent. It could be someone that's thinking about joining real estate, and you say, hey, look, this is what you want to keep an eye out for. So all I do is ask you to share it with one person. And number 2, if you could, write us a review on your favorite podcast platform, whether it be Spotify, Apple, whatever it is. Take 1 minute. Tell us what you liked about the show. Help us help other people. Help me help you. I hate that. Anyway.
I love it.
Okay, good. I like all the other stuff. I hate to help me help you. That seems lame. Thank you so much for watching this episode. We will see you next week.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.